Another stream for phase 3 today! Awesome! Now, before I begin on the dev speaking parts, I'll have the beautiful scenery parts in the background, so don't you worry. But before I begin on the actual talking and whatnot that the devs were up to, for one, art change! Yay! I kept saying, and the background needs to be changed too, but as for the character itself, for one, finally the Cerato. Two, finally not my trash. The ever so talented and lovely Rune has helped me with this also beautiful Cerato. And you can find the link to her stuff down below, as usual. Secondly, there was a sudden influx of comments about the commentary, and I'm going to say it again. Well, I don't like talking about it, because I don't want it to sound all dramatic and stuff. This is the way that they end up having to be done, because if they're not done this way, Dondi or any of the other devs can decide, I don't like that, we're gonna take it down, then you guys wouldn't be able to see it. The way I did it before does not fall under YouTube's fair use. So if Dondi wanted, he could just take the video down, which is probably what would have ended up happening at some point. I was already messaged at one point, not by him, but by another one of the devs, to not do the streams the way I was doing before. Apparently another person who had been doing the streams also got this sort of message, from what I understand. In my previous video, someone actually commented saying he got a cease and desist. I don't know if it was quite that serious. Like, I mean, in theory, yes. Like, you're told, stop, don't do it again. In polite terms, of course. It wasn't a scary message or anything, it was a polite, hey, could you do it this way instead of that way? Granted, I had to go through like 3 answers in order to get there. And the first one was, don't do it monetized, which understandable, so I'm like, okay, so here's some alternatives I could do. The next answer was, well, it's the way you're doing it, and then another way you're doing it, and so on and so forth. But anyway, the channel who was doing it the way I used to isn't even monetizable yet. Like, he doesn't meet the criteria, so he wasn't gaining any money off of this. So it definitely wasn't that. So again, I have to do it this way, or the streams do not get posted. I don't want to do it this way. I've made it abundantly clear I don't like it. Commentary is not my thing, as you can hear. And I never like watching commentary sort of things when it comes to this. I just want to see the stuff and go. And that's how most of you guys are, because that's how I centered my channel. Unfortunately, I have to follow the rules that are set before me. I cannot post them the way I used to post them. Yeah, it's easier. And yeah, I prefer it, but it cannot be done. I will get punished. I cannot do it. But those of you who did understand, and there was this lovely comment in the public Discord for the Isle, I'll put that up somewhere around here. I was looking into the supposed cease and desist thing. So I was looking at the public Discord for a little while. Usually I only look at the dev stuff, so I found this sheet purely by mistake. Some people were talking about how others had been posting the streams, and this got brought up. And thank you, person, for understanding, because at times it honestly does feel like it doesn't occur to a lot of people that there are rules. And if you don't follow them, your channel can get a strike, you can get taken down, your videos can get yoinked, all that stuff. So again, I have to follow the rules. Thank you for understanding. Thank you to all the other people who are understanding. I'm just doing what I'm told. I was told I cannot put these streams in news videos, and I was told I have to change how I did them. And that is what I am doing, and that is what I have been doing. So again, not on me, don't look at me. These are the rules. I'm following them, or I'm going to get punished. And I don't want to, because I do not have the energy for that. No. So if you want to see these without all of my stuff, you're gonna have to either find another person who's posting them like I used to. I'm sure there's gonna be more that pop up, until they get found, of course. Or you have to watch the stream yourself. And I know that's a impossible for some people due to the time. Some people are asleep, some people are at work. But unfortunately, this is what I have to do. I cannot post these unless I do it this way. And while I'm going to be altering the way everything looks, a little by little over time as best I can, I only have so much time, and I only have so much money in order to commission stuff and or make it myself. Like Rune made the Cerato, I made the Allosaurus, and I'm going to be making the background. So I'm working on my own time. I can't go any faster. I'm really slow when it comes to art. My art isn't very good. It's gonna take some time. And Rune might help me a little bit more when I get something sketched out. But I want to have most of the work done because she's incredibly busy. Like, she slammed my commission out incredibly fast. I had mentioned it a few months back, but we actually hadn't been able to, you know, sit down and work on it until just a few days ago. So I just barely got these, and now they're going out into the wild, but unfortunately I didn't have the background stuff ready because I'm still working on it. I'm slow, I don't have time, it's a process, I'm sorry, but that's how it is. But anyway, I wanted to go over that again. I don't like talking about it because I don't want to be dramatic about it, but if there's gonna be a sudden influx of comments going, we don't like the commentary, that's fair, I don't like it either. I don't like me, I don't like listening to me, and now I have to listen to me in order to do these things, so yeah, I get where you're coming from, but you're gonna have to mute it because I have no choice. I have to do it this way. So if there's going to be a sudden influx of comments like that, I have to address it because apparently people weren't looking at the previous videos where I explained what was going on. Again, I don't like to talk about it. This is how things are on YouTube. Like, I'm working well within the rules of YouTube. This isn't just devs being finicky, it's YouTube also. Like, that's how it is. Fair use is fair use. This is how those reactionary channels and all that other stuff, that's how they have to work. Because otherwise the original poster can go, oh, I don't like you having my video in your video, I'm gonna take it because it's mine. This way, because I've changed it so much, it falls under fair use. It is now my video. You go look at what fair use is. But that's where I have to work within. That's why the videos are the way they are. It's not because, oh man, guys, you have to hear me comment on all this stuff, like, my opinions, you have to listen to them. No, I hate that. That's why I don't usually post my opinions in my main news videos. If I did, I could post every single day and make it over 20 minutes easy. You guys hear me rambling right now. I could easily do it. But that's not what I want to do. I want it to be quick, painless, easy, done. But when it comes to the streams, this is how it has to do. This is how it has to be. That's just the way it is. So, again, I'm sorry. Hit the mute button. I highly recommend it, but this is the way it has to be done. And I apologize again because I know. Like, I understand, this isn't how I set my channel up to be. I wanted it to be just the dev stuff and that's it. No thoughts. Head empty, just dev. But I have to follow the rules, so there you go. Let's get started on the actual, substance now. The stuff that you actually want to see. So let's go on to that.
Oh, you know what? I should probably point this out, because everyone's gonna wonder why. This tree is exceptionally dark right now, because for 2 builds it disappeared. And I was very certain it wasn't showing up, and I was told I'm insane, and I said turn the tree color down so we can tell that it's missing. I was right.
And right out of the gate we have just a little tiny disclaimer thing. Nothing to say aside from what it says on the can. Tree dark. I included it even though I didn't notice the tree thing. Other people might notice the tree thing. I'm not quite... When I do these, I don't look at them. I listen, I skim, it goes into the editing pile. I'm not looking with a magnifying glass or anything. So while I don't notice the tree thing, other people might. So I included it because, yeah. So that's why this is in.
You know what I'm excited for? For like everyone. I'm ready for server whitelists.
Oh yeah.
So ready for some server whitelists. What's that? You need a Pteranodon to scout for you and tell you where people are at in Discord? Sorry, looks like that behavior's not accepted anywhere with a whitelist, because no one likes that. Unfortunate.
And server whitelisting. Anyone who runs a server is probably gonna be pretty excited for something like this, or at least those with, you know, a dedicated following, or perhaps really strict rules, whatever. I don't run a server. But for me, it would be a case of whenever, say, the IO gets finished or something, and you can actually play with a couple friends and the rest is AI. Kind of like a Wolf Quest situation. I keep bringing up Wolf Quest, but honestly, it's the best I've got right now. So in Wolf Quest single player, you're hanging out on your own, the rest of the world's AI. There's herds of elk and deer and all that fun stuff. There's AI wolf packs. There's all sorts of cool things. Unfortunately, the multiplayer for Wolf Quest isn't my cup of tea at all. I wish you could go separate and do your own thing. Anyway. But basically, something like the Isle, but you could play it with a couple friends, or a bunch of friends, or a select few people on a server, or whatever, or whitelisting good. I've always liked whitelisting when it came to servers. I know with Minecraft I used to use it all the time whenever we would host one. Simply so we don't get random people showing up. Because you can do a password, but on every now and again there's a rare chance where someone gets in anyway through the password. I don't know whether it's guessing it or what. I actually had the same thing happen in League of Legends, come to think of it, back when I played. I don't play anymore, but back when I did a custom lobby, and someone got in somehow, and I'm like, my password's pretty obscure. How on earth? You know what, never mind, just leaves. Whitelisting prevents that, so yippee. So anyone running a server, I'm sure this is probably pretty good news for you.
For everyone wondering, why isn't the Allosaurus killing the Albertosaurus in any of the panels, is because while everyone is expecting the two of them to fight, there needed to be a certain emphasis on the vulnerability of the creature, especially in its earlier phases. So having a Omniraptor just kind of, you know, taking one out shows that, oh look, the basic thing that grows much quicker and is much more simpler to survive as can just annihilate you. So, you know, everyone knows that the two mainstays are gonna eventually just start brawling because I decided to make it canon.
Okay, now this one I did happen to see a little bit of conversation going on inside the Discord. When the concept dropped, I was skimming around seeing if there were any dev comments that I might have missed, because when you search by username, Discord doesn't refresh it, so you have to close it, search again, close it, search again, sort of thing. And I just skimmed around. For one, I wanted to see the general consensus because I enjoy doing that every so often. But two, I wanted to see if in the hubba-lubba-dub I had missed something or another. There wasn't anything I missed. It was just a bunch of people going on about Alberto, and there was a lot of stuff about its size. There were some people fighting about whether it was Troodon or Utah. It was... oh boy. I don't like looking through the general Discord. I just don't. But anyway, I saw a decent amount of why isn't Allosaurus in here, and that was mixed in, of course, with the why did Alberto have Stego instead of Allosaurus having Stego? And then, of course, the other, of course, I guess I should say, yay, Stego's dying. We need this in the game immediately. That part I found funny. Those were good. But anyway, there was a lot of conversation going on about why is there no aloe in here, sort of thing. Or I guess I should also add, why wasn't aloe or Albertosaurus in the aloe one and vice versa? That kind of like with Cerato and aloe, how they're always in each other's things, messing around, all that fun stuff. They're the rivals, I guess you could say. But in this case, it would be more of an, well, I guess it depends on who you ask, more of an evenly matched sort of deal. So there was a lot of conversation regarding that, and so that's why I included this part. That, and of course, people are curious about what Alberto's gonna be like, so I shoved this one in here. So there you go, guys. I hope this answers some of the questions. I don't know, but hey, it was interesting, so it's in.
How hardcore will new diets be? I don't want to tell them our.
I don't think hardcore is the word to use. I think intricate is a better word to use.
No. I know what they're gonna. I know what they're trying to frame though.
Oh.
They're based because I keep telling people upcoming, like, hey, I'm gonna kneecap the hell out of a lot of the issues that sit in the background. So obviously people are expecting it to suddenly become a lot more difficult. But I would say that in terms of difficulty, how hard it is, I don't think anyone's gonna feel anything different. I think any people that are playing the game and can competently play the game and have a reasonable capability to survive, this is irrelevant to them, and the only change that's coming that they'll care about is, oh hey, the diets and buffs. So it might steer the location of where they're going, but it's not like the game's going to suddenly be harder for the people who are playing it. It's the people who just kind of go off into a corner and their experience is ruined. They're just done.
If you're trying to play the game, you should be fine. But when it comes to the people who aren't trying to play the game or interact with anyone, just kind of like, sit in a bush, not doing anything, those are the types of people who are going to be incurring malices.
It won't even be a game for them anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, take this one as you will, I suppose. It's included, obviously, because a lot of people have questions about how in-depth, how complicated, how hardcore, etc., the new diet stuff is going to be. I guess I can't really say much one way or the other. I haven't been a fan of how mandatory they've made diets since the fact it became mandatory. When diets were first spoken of way back, it sounded more like you stay baseline unless you follow the diet, and then you get some buffs, like side quests sort of thing. You can do them, and you'll get stronger for doing them, but you're not gonna suffer too terribly bad, if at all, for not doing them. Now it's you get heavily punished if you can't find something, so if AI isn't spawning, screw you. If no one's playing Hypsy, because imagine someone playing Hypsy, screw you. No one playing Dryo, screw you, so on and so forth. I don't like that. I don't like it at all, because you either have to rely on the AI actually working, which it usually doesn't, and if it is working, you have to actually find it, which I don't mind having to find the AI, but that's again going back to assuming it's working. If it is working and the AI is spawning, fine. Go to those zones and hunt. I like that, it is fine. I'll go back on over to Wolf Quest. There's certain areas you're told where, areas and times of day, I should say, where herds of either elk or deer will be more common. you go to those areas, you're more likely to find them. Fine, that's awesome. However, because hunger and thirst go down so quickly, there's also the juggling of, am I going to completely desiccate if I walk over to this area where supposedly AI will be? And if there isn't any AI there, am I going to starve when I have to inevitably go all the way back to go get water? That sort of thing. And then, of course, you might end up having to use a coordinate map because it's incredibly easy to get lost. You can just say get good skill issue all you want, but it comes down to thirst and hunger being incredibly, like, they go down super fast. I have not had this sort of irritation playing any other survival game. Like Don't Starve, for instance, where literally the title says don't starve. I starve incredibly less often because you can actually get food, and because it's fair. That's, well, fair at least as far as food goes, I suppose. We did have one of the boss monsters essentially spawn on our base once, which wasn't exactly fair, but that's how that game be. That's a different story altogether. But anyway, the food drain and the way the nutrients work and all that, I haven't been a fan of it for a very long time, but that's just me. If they ever manage to get working, fine. But I don't want it to be some super duper complicated, do it this exact way, or you're gonna end up a skin and bones little man. Because screw you, even if you're trying to play. Because while they keep saying, oh, it's only gonna affect people who are AFK, whenever I play it recently, I am always on the move, and I will still fail to find just about anything. Like, constantly looking, searching, sniffing, and either the AI is not spawning, or it is absolutely not around anywhere, and the server was half full, so it's not like I wasn't, you know, possibly gonna run into anyone, because I did. I saw some Carnos and stuff. But you can't really do much as a Juva Utah against a Carno, let me tell you what. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes, but yeah. I guess just we'll see.
Yeah. Do you want light rain or heavy rain or thunder?
Oh, just do light.
Right up.
Yeah, it shouldn't be insane. I just want to know if the trees are still gonna kind of, you know, do a full-on panic, which they don't. These seem to be good.
Sudden rain out of nowhere feels just like home.
Now I gotta go check on the big ones and see if they stopped moving. Oh hey, do these? You know, I never actually looked yet. Do these? Is it all of them? Oh, it is. See? The weather's doing the thing. You need to set it to rain.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see if their wind is actually functional. Ah! Okay, yeah, that works.
There we go.
It's a very...
Is it lighter, by the way? Is it
No, it's fine. I'm looking at their wind. Yeah, very, very lightly done, but it is working. You're making sure. What is this, thunderstorm? No, this is just...
No, this is
rain. Yeah. I was gonna say
this is typical UK day.
Well, I was gonna say I don't see any of the leaves that get blown in the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
You could, yeah, thunderstorm, and I'm kind of curious to see.
Sure.
It's not my favorite with the anti-gamma on, but Jesus, that's loud.
Weather goodies! These two clips weren't originally together, I just put them together because they were in relation to the same thing. It was checking on trees and having to do with the movement of the foliage and stuff, and I really like how the foliage moves around and, you know, wind and rain and all that fun stuff. He does mention leaves going in front of the camera. I can't see it. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at the camera or if I'm supposed to be looking at the tops of the trees. I needed to focus on editing anyway, so I didn't go squinting trying to find it, but I did let that clip play out a little bit longer so you guys could hear it and look around. Included because weather curiosity. If I remember right in Legacy, I don't think any of the foliage moved around during storms. I could be wrong. It's been a very, very long time since I played Legacy, but I don't remember it doing that. I do know in the forest the trees would blow around every now and again during like windy bits and stuff. So it made me think of that a little bit. I do enjoy it when games include foliage moving around during storms. Like, it's not necessary or anything, and I hope that frames and stuff don't plummet because of it. However, it does look very nice, so hopefully it works out fine. Hopefully it looks nice when we actually get to it.
Balance questions are so not worth asking me. And I say that with sincerity because when you go, hey, is A gonna be able to solo B? I don't know. You have a community that's 50-50 split on whether or not a dinosaur needs to be able to turn around in place to be able to defend itself, and you have people that say no to that, which is largely the most bizarre thing I've ever heard in my entire life, you know? And they're, again, sizable amount of the population who are also throwing in their opinions and things. So I just leave it alone. You'll see when it's out, and if you don't like it, mod it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This community is like 90% composed of people who are destroying the spirit of the game.
Because Dondi does do a decent amount of Q&A stuff every now and again, in fact, I'm going to have to get to editing that portion of the stream in a little bit. First section's going to be what you're seeing here, next section's going to be the Q&A stuff. I'll go into the rest of that at the end of the video. Anyway, people ask questions, and I don't want to have someone waste their question on something that he's not even going to answer. So I'm going to just put this out here. Doesn't answer balance questions, at least not in general, question mark? I don't know what the question exactly was, but definitely if you're the type to ask questions during the streams, do keep this in mind. He might not answer questions like this, so be warned, try not to waste your question, all that fun stuff. I guess further confirmation as well that modding is going to be in. I mean, we keep getting it, but I do like to keep putting certain things in because we've seen things change for seemingly no reason after tons of confirmation, and after not hearing about it in a while, we might as well, I'll just put it in there. Yes, modding still seems to be a thing. Just don't want something like the Troodon mimic thing happening again, where we get the same answer again and again and again, and then all of a sudden it's the exact opposite of what we've been getting repeatedly, so yeah. And hopefully it will continue to be a thing, because honestly, mods keep games alive, man. I love mods. They're great. Sure, some of them aren't amazing, and some of them are pretty stupid, but there's so many dedicated modders, and the work they do is absolutely fantastic. Like with Ark, for example, I wouldn't want to play vanilla Ark. It's stupid, it's bad, there's not very much variety, there's all sorts of quality of life mods, there's all sorts of balancing mods, which I don't really care for as much, but I know a lot of people really do care for that sort of thing. Mostly what I go into is new creatures, like new dinos, all that fun stuff. That is where I'm gonna be at. So once modded dinosaurs start coming out, I'm just like, I want that one, and that one, and that one over there. That is my thing. I love having as much variety as possible. I love seeing the variety. It's beautiful. But yeah, mods are good. Hopefully it continues to be a thumbs up.
Can you speak on what you intend for the gameplay loop for humans to be like? I always tell people it's the basic survival perspective. But I mean, yeah, there's no way for me to say anything, because it's like anything I say at this point, oh, there it is. See, I knew it. They came back into the world with problems. Just this one. In the land of floating debris. I called it. There's no way for me to spoil, or I'm sorry, to talk about their perspective without spoiling what I would find enjoyable about them and what's unique about them. He'll probably say something at some point, someday. Not me, though.
You'll get information on that at some point, a little bit further down the road.
Alright, this one's a bit of a doozy, and I can't let the whole thing play all at once because it's solid like 6 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. Really, really long, so I'm gonna have to cut it up into 3 little pieces, well, not so little pieces, 3 pieces, and break it down one by one that way. So far as the human loop is concerned, we don't get a whole lot here, but we do get a lot of other thoughts on other things, which he'll go on in a little bit. But for now, let's just focus on the human loop thing. So far as we've been told, we know there's looting. We know there's going to be various guns and stuff you can get that are very rare. We know there's vehicles you can get that are very rare. And we know you spawn in with basic gear. We know eventually there's going to be taking over certain compounds, like fixing them up and stuff like that, getting electric fences going, that sort of thing. And we know there's going to be, I think for mercs it was prefab building? Something like that. The tribals and the mercs had 2 different styles. I don't remember which one was which. Someone else will know that one. I'm sure it'll be in the comments. But anyway, building of some sort or another that might change in the future, who knows? That, as far as we know, is the basics of what we've been told regarding things that are included in the merc gameplay. As for the loop itself, don't know. Granted, when it comes to survival games, a lot of times just the looting and surviving is enough, to be honest. Like, let's say 7 Days to Die, for instance. There's the Horde Night every 7 days unless you set it to be further out. So in general, the loop there is going to be making a base of some sort to survive the Horde, getting materials and stuff in preparation, surviving the night, fixing it up, and then again and again. Looting, surviving, preparing, enduring, and then you keep going. That sort of thing. And things like the forest, there's technically the sandbox style where you can do what you want, and of course mutants and stuff will start to spawn, things will start to spawn more often, they'll start to visit your base more often, it gets harder as you go. But there's also the caves you can do, and there's the boss you can fight if you want. Truth be told, even though I've got over 100 hours in the forest, I've never actually done the boss yet. I find the rest of it fun enough for me. But there's the scrounging, the looting, the surviving, the crafting, that sort of thing. So in this case, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna go super simple when it comes to mercs or not. As it is, what they've mentioned, it's more or less what you see in a lot of games as it is. And when you die, it sounds like your loot drops, aside from, I think they mentioned in the past, there would be some loot that if you got, say, eaten by a dinosaur or something, that would be consumed along with you instead of being dropped. I don't remember the full extent of that conversation anymore, so I'd suggest going and finding it yourself. But from what I can recall, there was something along the lines of certain loot being dropped in dinosaur poop, and I think certain would not. But it's been a very long time, I don't fully remember, and it could have changed to... Stuff changes all the time, I have no idea. Like, there used to be different classes, and as far as I'm aware, they aren't doing the class thing anymore. So, yeah, anyhow. That's what we've been told thus far regarding gameplay. I'm not gonna say anything about the loop exactly, but at least in my mind, if what we've heard so far were to be all there is, which I'm sure there is more, but for the sake of this conversation, from what we've heard thus far, at least in my eyes, it would be enough. Like, for most people, just being able to survive and shoot dinosaurs is enough, but we'll see what sort of stuff they do and what happens and what's added. But as far as this goes, I wanted to offer what I recall we've heard about. I don't know what else changed, and of course there's probably going to be stuff added, but for now, that's what I've heard about. So I will offer that up into the void, and we will continue onward into other things. It's still the human thing, but it's another angle, you'll see.
You expect humans... You know what? I don't know. Because normally I would like to say that, you know, hey, human beings are an obscene bunch of homicidal maniacs, especially in survival games. Like, 80% of everyone you run into in most survival games are just, monsters.
I feel like that kind of... It really depends on the circumstance.
Well, I was gonna say, like, every single instance we've thrown people in here, prompted or otherwise, whether it's come from QA or private closed testing with other groups, anytime that we have allowed humans to be selected, they're always full cooperative. And when we had it released publicly, humans were all full cooperative. And now, I think that the only reason that stands true is because you couldn't just instantly obliterate someone at range with a gun. So your murderous capabilities were drastically toned down. But I feel like there's a certain sense of camaraderie that is displayed in this game every single time we release a dinosaur, and every single time that we did a change that kind of more closely limited a dinosaur's communication range to its own species. Everything, for the most part, kind of became relaxed with one another. And then it was just like, oh, well, of course you have Discord groups, but I mean, who cares? Server whitelisting. We get to laugh at Mixpackers soon and go and enjoy playing literally nowhere, because nowhere will accept that type of behavior, except for the servers that are explicitly allowing this. And you know what? It won't be a problem for anyone, because obviously that's the place for that type of stuff. But for everyone else that wants a decent, normal, functional experience, you don't have to worry about that. And I think the same will be said maybe for a while with humans. Once the initial shine wears off, I think people that are largely playing human characters will probably go back to a standoffish kind of approach with one another. Or maybe in the case of this game, I don't know, because I can't predict the future. I can only try and steer it the direction I want. Quite literally non-interactions. Like, just because they see someone, it's literally just not worth risking the interaction. You don't want to have to even deal with the possibility of it going south, where you might have to shoot your gun and then alert the world to your presence and invite other problems. But, you know, that's my thought. At least I hope that's where it kind of goes.
This was more something that I just found incredibly interesting. I couldn't understand what the initial question was, but it sounded something along the line... Well, from what he said, I should say, it sounded something along the lines of, what would you envision human gameplay sort of entailing, like, how they behave and stuff like that. Not nitty-gritty of the gameplay, but general how they would behave with each other and dinos. Um, I found the answer quite amusing because, yeah, when humans were introduced, everyone was just curious for the most part. Yeah, there were human squads that were running around and just kicking juvies everywhere. But there were also a lot of cases, like when I played, there were a bunch of humans, Carnos, Utahs, Stegos, all of them just kind of hanging out in one general area, just kind of enjoying each other's company, just looking and vibing, I guess you could put it. It's probably the novelty, which he does kind of go into here, and they'll talk a little bit more. I think it was more of Punch's side in a little bit. But so far as most survival games go, yeah, for sure. And I imagine this is going to end up the same way once humans aren't basically pointless. I mean, once more people play humans, you're going to get humans fighting humans all the time. That's just how it is. Things like Rust and Daisy and all of those things. Ark would be another one. Ark's actually a decently good comparison. I mean, you won't have tames per se, but you're going to have people working with dinos every now and again. Which, I mean, in my eyes, I don't care. Because I just don't care. Let people do whatever they want. But I know a lot of people are going to go screeching about that. However, in terms of player versus player, you're going to get factions of people and dinos fighting factions of people and dinos. Like, there's probably going to be servers specifically for teams of people and dinos going against teams and with people and dinos, and they're going to try and get the most loot or try to claim the most buildings, or honestly, there's a lot of things you can do with what we know so far. Like, again, we don't know a whole lot about human gameplay and what it's going to be like, but since we can imagine there are only a limited amount of buildings you can claim, I can quickly see there being events like claim the most buildings for the motherland sort of thing. And you could have humans and dinos working together in those. But for general, normal gameplay, it's gonna depend on the person. Because right now, the Isle with humans is not very survival-y. Like, when they were put in, it was just to show what it was like. They didn't have a whole lot to do, there wasn't much that could... There just wasn't much to do! So of course they're just gonna hang around, they're gonna kick stuff when they're near stuff. Like, most humans I saw would kick things. Like, they'd go up to... My friend, for instance, was a stego. And this was back when the map loading bug was incredibly prevalent, and her map wouldn't load. So her stego was just standing there, and some human came up and kicked her to death. So, I mean, you get stuff like that. They're definitely murdery, but it's very limited of what you can do. Like, it's not very survival right now for them. They're just tech demo running around. There's not much to do. Once the humans get more they can do, be it survival-y things and looting things, you're definitely gonna get more people wanting what other people have. You're gonna get people who want to use the weapons they've got to kill other things or people. It's gonna go on and on. We just don't have the survival types right now when it comes to humans. Everyone who is playing humans during the testing, they're all people who want to play dinos for the most part. Yeah, there's a ton who want to play humans as well. But it's not that hardcore base of people from, say, horde shooters or stuff like that. Like, someone who comes in from playing Killing Floor is going to play the game a whole lot differently than someone who is already here playing dinos and really enjoys the dino portion as opposed to the human portion and was just kind of chilling. So it's going to attract a different set of people, which will in turn change how people interact with other people. But for now, it's the same people again and again. Like, you've got the same type of player. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain type of player that's going to be attracted to certain games. And right now, we've got predominantly one type of player. Once you start getting others, one's from, say, DayZ, one's from more Ark sort of thing, one's from Primal Carnage, whatever. People who want to shoot and loot and survive as a human against a horde of monsters, that sort of thing. It's gonna definitely change how people act. But right now it's gonna be a little bit hard to say, as he said here, because the people within this game right now are gonna act a certain way, and right now it's mostly just chilling. But again, there's not a whole lot you can do. Like, you can kick things, sure, but you're not gonna be able to go up to a Carno and just kick it to death, unless it's a baby. Which, yes, I did have happen because I wanted to mess with the person a little bit, but yeah, like, people definitely want to kill stuff. We see that all the time. People who play Stegos, they want to kill everything. People who play Carno, they want to kill everything. People who play Dino, they want to kill everything. We've got the type. It's just, as far as humans go right now, it's a little bit difficult. And they're gonna go more into that, so I'm gonna let them continue on.
It would be
the way I
interesting.
see it is similar. It's like when it comes to the guns, for example, like when you're like a dinosaur, right? When you see like a combat situation, at least one of the reasons why I think people aren't just immediately going ham on each other is if your only way of like winning a combat situation is melee, that means that you have a sort of you're making a riskier commitment to like a scenario than someone with like a gun, where if you're attacking someone in melee and they're not like vastly smaller than you, there's a chance you could die. Like there's a good chance that you initiating that combat situation will not go the way you hope. But if you have a gun and you have the drop on someone, it's the question of, if I don't shoot them now, are they going to shoot me when I'm in their crosshair? At least that's how I've always looked at it when I'm playing games like DayZ and so forth. It's like, do you want to take the risk of being in their crosshair when they're already in yours? Guns change the way that you operate with people.
And that one is the last in that human section saga. And again, we touched on it a little bit prior, but yeah, people's behavior is going to change a whole lot once you start getting weapons, once you start getting a new player base. That'll be the big one. I mean, the one we have now is plenty murdery enough. We don't necessarily need the others that'll come in, but you're definitely going to get a whole new set of players once humans are more fleshed out and capable of actually doing things. You're gonna get the ones who are just die-hard. They love things like survival versus monsters, be it zombies, be it dinosaurs, be it whatever the heck is in other survival games these days. Mostly zombies, that's what I think of when I think of this sort of game, but I mean, yeah, people are gonna be super into a survival zombie survival dino game. It's not something you get a whole lot of. Like, there's horde shooter dino games aplenty. Even when it comes to shooters and dino games, I discount just about all of them because they're all basically the same. Hordes of dinos, pew pew. That's not my thing. Like, I played Killing Floor and I really enjoyed Killing Floor. But as far as horde shooters go, I think Killing Floor is just about the only one that I've enjoyed. But that's different. Most dino games are basically the same, though. Whenever I see a dino game, it's usually some sort of horde shooter situation. I think I remember Orion being like that. I could be wrong, but I remember that being a horde type shooter. Then there was some other, like, futuristic zombie dinosaur one I saw reviewed a while back. I don't remember what that one was, but it was an odd one. And then there's the ones that are like Primal Carnage and Dino D-Day, where you'd have like humans versus dinos. Like, there's a lot of people who really, really like shooters and dinos together. So my point is, I might just cut the middle part, I don't know, we'll see. But the overall point being, shooter plus dino equal a very different type of player. There's gonna be people very, very interested in survival plus dinos done in this manner, because it hasn't been done in this manner before. Like, you can get ones like people versus zombies, but the zombies aren't generally controlled by a person in this sort of survival situation. Like, the type of game this is, mixed together with a human survival side to it. It's incredibly unique, which is one of the reasons why I latched on to this game, for better or for worse. I liked the designs of the dinosaurs and stuff like that, and I liked the idea of humans surviving alongside dinos. While I don't plan on playing humans myself, or at least not much, I don't see myself doing it at all, to be honest. I might be curious and try it once or twice, but generally speaking, I don't have any interest in that because I've got games like the zombie ones. I don't really care. But from a dino perspective, having humans running around, looting, and all that fun stuff, it just adds another layer to it. Like, you've already got the other dinosaurs that you're surviving alongside and against, and now there's the humans that you're surviving alongside and against. And some of them might be friendly, and some of them might not be. You can take Ark again, I guess. Some people are gonna be great, they're gonna team up with you, best buddies, all that stuff. And then others are gonna be, they're gonna drag you into their base and try to keep you captive. And then you have to take your little Sudoku poop pill and go sleepy and respawn somewhere else. But yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how the game changes when the humans are there and fleshed out. But for now, there's not a whole lot more that I can say that I haven't already said in the previous batch. People will change a lot as humans get fleshed out. We're gonna get a whole new wave of players coming in from other types of games, and they're gonna bring different playstyles and all that stuff. So I'm quite excited to see where it goes from there.
And we are not going that way now. You can set it to a different time of day immediately, please.
Oh, sure. Do you want it darker?
Don't care. What time did you set it to? You set it to before
16. Same
yeah,
as before.
okay, yeah, 16. Between 16 and 18.
Sure.
Hey, on the bright side, they can see out here now. We're just gonna stand over here.
There we go.
Everybody look at the debug sphere out in the ocean and smile. Can you verify what time you set it to, please?
Yeah, it's 17:30 right now.
Okay.
Do you want it darker?
Nope. No, that's fine. I just wanted to know the time.
Do you want the weather changed?
No, it's fine. Fine. It's not frozen, right?
It shouldn't be. I changed it and then put it back.
No, I was making sure because I saw the clouds moving, but I wanted to know if they were moving.
Yeah, it's not. The time isn't frozen. Like, it's ticking up right now.
Okay.
Nearly 1800.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know if that was working properly with frozen time or not.
Okay, now I'm not gonna go saying this means anything because for all I know this was all set up and made to look like some big thingy and it's actually nothing at all and won't be in the game ever. However, on the off chance that, it actually was an accident and that it actually is going to be in the game and might be interesting, here's whatever this was. It was definitely curious. I don't know the music cues in the game, so I don't know if this is one that's always in the game or if this one's different than one's currently in the game, because when I last played, I never got any of the music cues at all. Except for maybe a little... No, did I even get the battle music when I fought the boar? I don't think I did. But I don't remember anymore, it's been a while. But anyway, so I don't know. But it was definitely interesting. And again, it might be nothing, it might be set up. I don't know. But in case it's not, I wanted to include the fact that he mentioned the time of day / weather. At one point, I don't remember if it's in or not, I think it got scrapped. So basically at one point he had mentioned when Punch was altering the time of day that he would also have to alter the weather again, because when the time of day was altered, the thing thought that the weather had changed as well, so it thought it was clear now even though it wasn't. So essentially I don't know if it's something linked to weather / time of day. The fact that he said any time at all makes me think it could have been connected the same way weather is, again assuming this wasn't just set up to troll people. I don't know. But regardless, I wanted to include what he mentioned, and the location will be included in just a little bit. But yeah, I found that pretty interesting, pretty amusing, again assuming not set up, but a fascinating little nugget that we might or might not see whenever we get the map, but yeah, pretty neat.
No, we're not at K15. We are at... K15 is that way. We are basically at... L, maybe I-10? No. Yeah, maybe... Yeah, L or I-10.
And that was for those who do locational things. Again, it might not look exactly the same, but that's the location of the thingy that just happened. Also, the little Easter egg island in the distance, which you'll get to hear a little bit more of in just a moment.
You know what's funny, Punch?
Huh?
They already picked it up, and here's the thing. For all of you who who immediately recognized, totally unintentional, not actually one to one.
Happy accident.
Yeah, complete accident. We were actually just talking after a meeting, and it was a sunny day, and Punch just went, "Wow, this looks really nice. Hey, doesn't that look like?" Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Yeah. No, this is so for those of you who aren't paying attention because you're too busy staring at the Happy Accident Island, you can see the water plane here being cut off. There's work being done to the bay here for a fun little experiment I'm about to kick to the stress testers. And if the water mechanic experiment goes well, I get to do fun things down there.
Things on Easter eggs and the lovely water. I assume, again, this is just assuming, given what we've been told and heard about lately, I assume this is going to have to do with flooding or, tides, things like that, like wet and dry seasons, floods, and not the anti-flood, the drought biddles, the thing. Anyway, I assume it's going to be something like that he's going to be testing there. They've already done small amounts of testing in that way. So, again, I assume that's what it's for, but it might be completely unrelated, who knows. But given we know weather's been in the works and we do know floods are part of it, I would assume flood-related things. Don't know. But that's what he said, so take it what you will.
Oh, real quick, Punch, if you're interested, if you want to see what Nightvision could really look like to Troodon, come here, real quick.
Hello?
All right. Turn off your flashlight. And then do this. Do that. Real quick. Tell me what you think. Because I figured that might be the worthwhile bonus phase 3.
Oh.
Now do the thing.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
That would be interesting.
Uh-huh. So, But here you go. Look at that. Look on the ground.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
Oh, good.
This is actually, you know what? I should probably just message QA and go, hey, test this and tell me what you think.
Do it.
Oh, gosh. Okay, look. No one get excited. This isn't real, but I'm gonna show you something for fun. And then all of you that perpetuate it as real, you get to get banned because you ruin everything that is enjoyable when we do fun things like this. So, obviously anti-gamma is on, so it causes a little bit of distortion that's not, the best, in my opinion, but I'll get another version with anti-gamma off. You'll see what I mean. I'm gonna just turn it on and you'll understand. So here's what people suspect night vision to be. You know, night vision, cool, you can see a certain distance in front of you. And then, of course, the two arguments. Number one, well, if nights were done right, you wouldn't need anti-gamma, which is wrong, because if nights were done well, anti-gamma would be very useful. And number two, well, why don't you just block all of those programs? Those programs have other functionalities that are great to use with the game, and I don't want to just go, oh, let's block everything immediately. That's silly. Also, I don't want to go through the hassle of blocking and unblocking when we can coordinate with some of these other developers. It's not fun to go, oh yeah, everything's blocked and no one can use all of these other features. But anyway, so if we ripped off the limitation of night vision and anti-gamma and you were just allowed to see, in air quotes, like a creature sees, then I would assume that a true nocturnal hunter would look something a little like this. It's kind of neat to just kind of walk around. So,
as far as being shown things, as far as I'm aware, this was the last thing that we were able to, actually see. I think after this goes into the Q&A session, I haven't watched all of the last section of the stream, but every time I tabbed back over while I was editing this, it was at the please wait screen, well, intermission, whatever, the screen. You're going to be seeing a whole lot of it in the next video, but anyway, that screen. So I assume everything after this is going to be Q&A minus the next Troodon bit that I'll get to in a moment. But Troodon night vision stuff, again, as he said many times, don't know what's going to be in. This was just playing around. However, it is still incredibly interesting to see. It looks really fancy, at least to me. I mean, it looks better than what we had. You can see quite well. So I'm curious to see how much of this does go in, if it'll be some variant of this, if it'll look exactly like this. I don't know. But here we are. Now you get to see it, included for very obvious reasons. Now we get to the unnatural light sources section, which to me was the highlight.
So, obviously this is not a direct representation of any sort of like Troodon night vision. I just went, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you could just slap this on real quick? And I did something that it wasn't meant to do, and drastically increased it. But of course people want to know the differences in night vision. Punch, if you would be so kind, real quick, could you turn into a human for me?
Oh.
And I'll demonstrate in more examples of artificial light, but actual forms. Go ahead. Yeah, you can turn on. Actual forms of light fill in color. So.
I'll keep my mouse still.
Well, then, you don't have to. That's fine.
I'll follow it. Oh, yeah.
It's no big deal. So. A collaboration of many minds working on this. Anyway. Oh no, the light, all this already exists. Just the Troodon night vision range. I threw it on Troodon because it's fun to do. And it's a very uncomfortable sound when you're playing as anything else in the forests and jungle.
And this I found very, very interesting. The way the light shows color everywhere it glows. The humans seemed fully in color, at least when I was looking at them. Granted, it's probably the flashlight flashing back at him, or, you know, the fact the human isn't fully finished yet, whatever. Still looks really neat. I kept wondering how exactly night vision and human light would go together, and this method of doing it, while again not complete, not for sure gonna be in the game, it looks very, very interesting, and I hope they, you know, expand on it and play off of it, that sort of thing. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it ends up being once we get to it. But from what we see here, I really liked it. The way it shows color where the light shines, the way it interacts with the human light. It just looked really nice to me. It wasn't like super mega ultra bright in your face or anything. It didn't look super weird. It didn't hurt my eyes to look at. Overall, it looked really nice, at least to me. I mean, other people are gonna think otherwise, more than likely, but in my eyes, it looked pretty nice. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting to see it, even if, again, it might not make it in the game. Still interesting to see. So that was, from what he said, our other Phase 3. Now, this is almost done. We're almost through this portion of the stream. But there is one more little nugget we were given at the very end of this section. I will let that play.
Anyway, Troodon. Well, Troodon's walk is the original personality walk, is what we call it. This is not its intended walk. This is the, what if we wanted to put a little more pep in the step of an animal without it being a change in speed or gait or anything like that. So you can have I mean, you'll see the Troodon's walk soon, but this was just kind of a different take on it. And, you know, what if you could just swap between walking animation stances and things like that? And again, that's not real either, but it was a thought that was had and, as you can see, put into practice on this guy. But his idol is a wonderful treat that is supposed to do the head bob and movement. Let me see if I can rip this off without having to reset.
A personality walk. Now, in my eyes, while I know not everyone's going to feel the same, more player choice is better. Even if it looks stupid to some people, other people are going to really like it. And I could see people wanting to toggle between the two, regular walk and personality walk, be it for the roleplay or just to see something different as you're going through your walking sim. I mean, let's be real, we're gonna see Dino walking, trotting, whatever, through most of the game. So being able to toggle between the two, in my eyes, is pretty cool. I don't see why not. It's not like it's gonna hurt anyone. It looks pretty cool. I like the idea of having more options to choose from, especially if, say, you happen to like one more than the other, and the devs might scrap the one you like and go with the one you don't like, and then you're stuck with it, and you have to stare at it for hours and hours and hours. Yeah, I like the idea of being able to toggle between the two. Again, it might never happen. However, the idea of it, I really enjoyed. But I'm one for customization, be it the dino skins, calls, whatever. If you could customize the entire dino, I would. Going back to Wolf Quest, you could customize the howls, you could customize the fur color, you could have some ears torn and chipped or droopy, not droopy, you could have mange, no mange, radio collar, no radio collar. It goes on and on and on. You could have your wolf be obese for all it cares. Don't know. Just all sorts of stuff. You could go ham with it. And while I understand this game might not be able to do that given how it works, it's still a nice idea. I hope someday they add more choices for customization because I like playing with the dino customization stuff. I mean, who doesn't spend 50,000 years in, like, the Skyrim character creation screen? No, I did. Took me forever to find what exactly I wanted on my cute little lizard man, but eventually I got there. I think it took an hour or two, but hey, it's worth it. Since again, you're going to be looking at it the rest of the game, so there you go. But anyway, that was the last, so far as this portion of the stream goes. He didn't go back, as far as I'm aware. If he did throughout the next portion of the stream, you'll see it. But as far as I'm aware, and the fact that this one is already over an hour long, this video is going to be cut here. The next one's going to be the Q&A portion. I haven't even gone through it yet. I don't know what's going to be in there. Some of it might overlap with what was here, in which case I might chop that out. Depends on the answers, blah blah blah. But this one is now done. As I'm recording this, Amarok is also streaming, so I'll have to do that one as well. His don't tend to take quite as long, but it depends on how he does it, so we'll see. Overall, thoughts on the stream, I liked it. I especially liked the Troodon part, but I mean, you guys know by now, of course I'm gonna like the new dino feature stuff. Troodon and Ceratosaurus are the two that I'm most interested in. I'm not even gonna talk about Rex because Rex is gonna take 50,000 years. Acrocanthosaurus, I love Acro, but he's gonna take 50,000 years. I'm not gonna talk about those two. They might as well not exist right now. They're gone. So Cerato and Troodon are the two that are most interesting to me, and so those are the ones I have my eye on the most. I know a lot of more people like Pingu and all those others, but for me, Troodon and Cerato have my heart, so of course if those two show up, I'm gonna be like, oh, yes, the ones keeping me going in this hellscape. So, little bits of Troodon, even if the Nightvision might not make it in, at least not as shown. It was interesting to look at. I imagine we're not going to be seeing Mimic for a very, very long time, judging from the past Philippe stream. And we haven't heard anything on Mimic since then, so we'll see, I guess. I would like to say it'll be in someday, but they change things so often I can't really say for sure, so I do not know. We'll just have to see, wait, find out, all that fun stuff. But yeah, good stream. Showed more of the map. There was quite a bit of walking around, but again, I have to kind of cut it up, and I have to comment on stuff in between, so while I was talking in the start, I had a decent amount of the background footage that didn't have audio necessary, just kind of playing there. And then I had to cut it off so it wasn't just one continuous thing of the video playing. YouTube gets a little picky when it comes to, you know, length and all that stuff. But I think it should be fine. Video, it's cut up enough, I'm commenting enough. I think the way I have it is fine and safe. I think, to be fair, I could probably do a lot less, but I'm not gonna toe the line there, there's no way. So thank you all again for watching, for all your comments and stuff. And I don't mean to sound upset or hissy or anything like that when it comes to people commenting on the commentary. I know most of you just don't know. Like, I did explain it, but not all of you saw that video, so of course I'm gonna have to say it again, and not all of you are gonna see this video, but I'm gonna say it again at the start. I'm not gonna say it now, I've already talked about that. So again, I don't mean to sound all... I don't want to be dramatic and whiny about it, you know? That's why I didn't want to talk about it. But when you have a lot of people asking about something, it's best to address it again, because otherwise it's just going to keep happening where all these people are confused, they don't know what's going on. But if I go through and just comment on each one, like, you know, reply to each one, then there's the next batch of people who aren't going to see it because no one looks at other people's comments. It's just YouTube. You're going to have 5 people asking the exact same thing. And even if you answered it already, there's going to be 5 more that pop up. So it was best to put it here, and it was best to put it at the start, because otherwise people are going to ignore it, and then I get the whole thing all over again. People are still going to ignore it, but I've said it. It's at the very start. Most of you are going to see it. So yeah, you can go ahead and... You guys know what's going on. You guys are in the loop. And I greatly appreciate your patience. As I said in the very first video, and I'll continue to say it, commentary is not my thing. It's never been my thing. Public speaking, while I went through it, while I passed it, it's not for me. You guys hear me go and like and anyway and all those, the filler words. I'm aware they're there, and some of them I'll edit out, but I'm not gonna go through and edit out every single one. Are you joking? It's not gonna happen. I'm trying to get more aware of it, and I'm trying to slowly push that sort of vocabulary out and sort of refine it. But it's never gonna be perfect. I'm gonna stumble over my words, and most of it I'm gonna edit out. Gosh, if you guys could see the stuff I have to edit out. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot read a script for the life of me, so I do not read scripts. If you think me speaking as I am now is bad, my eyes travel faster than my mouth, and my brain is caught in the middle and just goes bleh. It's not good. So I don't do scripting. Like, I might sometimes highlight pieces that I want to talk about, but in general, I'll chop everything up, I'll listen to it, and then I'll respond to it, and then I'll go edit it as I need to, and then I'll move on to the next one and do the same thing again and again. I do something like that, and I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, and I'll refine it over time. As it is, I've cut down a little bit of my wasted time doing things another way. But it's a process, and I'll get as good as I can, but I can only get so good. This sort of thing, it wasn't in the plan, TM. It wasn't something I ever wanted to do. But it's what I gotta do if I want to do the streams, and I know most of you are interested in the streams. Back when I first received the message of, hey, don't do it this way, I was like, oh great, I'm gonna have to change it, it's gonna be sudden, people aren't gonna like it, I can't blame them for it, and I was just like, man, this is gonna suck. Back when I checked my Discord private messages, I don't anymore. Not for this reason, it was... something else was going on, I'm not gonna go into it. It has nothing to do with the devs or anyone I was currently talking with. There was one person I kept... You know who you are, and I'm sorry I haven't responded. I haven't been checking anymore, there's just been a lot going on. But I stopped checking the Isle News Discord, as in the account. The Discord, you know, the big server I had is gone. I couldn't handle keeping it up with it. But the DMs and stuff I haven't checked in months. I set it to friends only, and then I just kind of went, you know, there's too much going on, I can't keep up with this as well, and I just dipped. like I said, it's not for me. This whole thing, it got bigger than I ever expected. But anyway, before all of that, there were two people, technically three, but two namely, they approached me during the whole stream thing. And I was talking to them for a while, and they were very, very encouraging, because one of them had work and one of them was usually asleep during the streams, and so they were like, hey, I know this is a big thing, but please continue. Like, you're the only way I'm able to see these streams. So I want you to keep doing them. And I don't want to let people like that down. Like, yeah, there's the whole... like, it's a lot of work, and I'll whine about it. And there's, of course, this self-satisfaction of being able to do it and continue doing it. Despite, you know, having to change everything, and I still have to change everything. I'm still changing the art and everything, but despite all that goes into it, it was very nice to hear things like that, and I hope those two are doing well. I hope they're still able to see the streams and all that. I don't know if they still follow this channel. I don't know if they'll watch this far in, but I really appreciated their words. But yeah, they were really nice, and I mean, comments like that are what keep you going. I see a lot of them. I don't always look at the comments anymore because I want to reply to them so badly, but I can't go through and just start a bunch of conversations. It's just not good. For me, I can't manage it all. But I'm really grateful for the ones I get, and I'm really grateful even for the bad ones. I know I sound whiny at the start, but it's more I just want to get the point across rather than I'm actually upset or anything. I'm not. Any comment to me is a good comment. You could say KYS and I'll be like, sure thing, buddy, I love you, thank you for the algorithm feeding. But it's more, even if it's a bad comment, the person took the time, which means, I mean, they put thought into it. No matter how thoughtless the comment may seem, someone went, they watched at least a second, and they decided to comment. And to me, even if it's a stupid comment, even if it sucks, even if it's like the most derogatory thing under the sun, I don't care. Like, I just don't. The only bad comments are the spam ones that post the links and stuff, and I try to get those reported as best I can, but YouTube sucks. Anyway, comments are comments are comments. I love the good ones. The bad ones, I'm not gonna say I hate, because I don't. Like, even the bad ones you can learn from. It's hard. Like, sometimes it can be like, oof, that hurts, man, but I get ya. More the criticism. Like, getting critique means you failed in some way, and for me, I'm like, I hate failing people, you know? No one likes to fail, but you've got to learn from it, and so you keep going. But, yeah. So, hopefully that will answer the people talking about the commentary. The commentary ain't gonna improve. Like, I'll get a little bit better, but there's only so good I can get. This isn't like a video game where you can keep trying and you'll get better. I will to an extent, but I'll never be as good as a lot of the others out there, and to me that's fine. I'm just doing it more as a hobby than anything. I don't get paid for doing this. I mean, YouTube will chuck like 20 bucks my way, and that's about it. But that's 20 bucks for hours and hours and hours of work, so there you go. So anyway, that'll be good. Thank you all for understanding, and even the ones who didn't understand, thank you for letting me know, because clearly I need to say it again, because again, not everyone knows the underworkings of YouTube. They don't know about fair use, they don't know about this, they don't know about that. So, I mean, it's good to, you know, explain it and say, hey, this is why I'm doing it. It's not because I hate you, it's not because I want to go talking and talking. It's because that's what I have to do in order to get these out. So, yeah. Thank you guys. Have a great day, night, whatever. I'll get started on all the rest of the stream stuff, and hopefully it'll get posted soon after this, but goodbye!
'Thank you.
Imagine someone walking in right now. I see Kim off in the distance. Look behind you. Through the window. Back there. Kim. She's staring at us.